Hello, welcome to American Baker in Germany. I'm Michelle, and today we're going to make a baby party cake for a baby shower from a friend of mine. And she's having a little boy, so everything's blue. And I'm making vanilla cake in 10-inch square pans, and I soaked them in a little bit of cherry syrup that I made out of cherry jam mixed with water and boiled. And then on the top is a little tiny bit of a half sphere, and then we're going to cover it in a little fondant blanket and have little fondant feet on it, and that's going to be a little baby bum cake. And I'm really excited about what we're doing today, so let's get started.
I stick the cake down with Swiss meringue buttercream. I double checked, and Swiss meringue buttercream is safe for pregnant women. The cake was also just a bit unstable because of the syrup soaking in, so I placed them on the cake board with the help of plastic wrap to keep them all stable. I placed the half sphere near the back of the cake to allow more room for decoration in the front. Then I crumb coated the cake and chilled it for 30 minutes. I also added cherry jam to the buttercream, and you really couldn't taste it at all, unfortunately. So I ended up using about a teaspoon of strawberry flavoring and blue food coloring. It left with a tiny fruity aftertaste, but it wasn't a strong flavor at all. Then I frosted the cake one more time and spent some time really smoothing the buttercream, which was a little challenging because of the odd shape, but it is doable. It just takes patience. Once I was finished smoothing the frosting, I chilled the cake again for another 30 minutes.
Alright, now I'm going to model the feet. So this is just flesh colored fondant that I bought, and I'm going to model them out of it. And then we're going to make the little blanket, and this is some leftover fondant that I had from my Elsa cake, and it's going to be the perfect color to make the blanket. Also, to make the blanket, I have a textured rolling pin with little flowers on it, and I thought that would make a nice addition to add some texture to the blanket. And I have an overstitch wheel, and this is just a cheap one that I got at the dollar store, so it just makes a little like sewn texture on it, like it's stitched. And so that's what we're going to do right now.
I knead the flesh-colored fondant until it's soft and model a rectangle about the length of my palm with one rounded end, and make an indentation on one side to be the arch of the foot. This will be the baby foot minus the toes, which I will make later. Then I pick up another piece of fondant and compare the size and weight to make them the same size. Once I'm happy with the size, I model the same shape as the first, just a mirror image. When I'm happy with that, I start on the toes. I start with the big toes, making both at the same time to ensure they're the same size. I compare the toes to the foot itself to make sure it's proportional, but I place them behind the feet so you can see what I'm doing. Then the next 3 toes are longer than they are wide, so I make little logs out of fondant, making them progressively smaller as you go down the foot. Then the baby toe is round again. I had trouble getting the fondant to stick to itself, so I brushed on a bit of edible glue onto the foot and stuck on the toes in order. The final result was eerily realistic. Then I set them aside to work on the blanket. I roll out a piece of light blue fondant as square as I could make it, keeping in mind how large I needed it to be as well. Then I used my textured rolling pin just once to leave the impression, then lined the design up to finish texturing the whole piece of fondant. Then using a ruler, I cut the fondant into a square. Then using the overstitch wheel, I add stitching all around the blanket and over the whole thing in thirds. Then I take my cake out of the fridge and place the feet, big toes up, on the cake. Then I carefully place the blanket on top of the hump cake, making sure to cover the heels so no one misses the baby legs, and draping the blanket forward to fall like fabric. Then I roll out another piece of light blue fondant and cut out the words "Welcome Baby" with my Tap-It alphabet cutters. These cutters don't cut all the way through fondant, so I have to help them along with the knife. I place the letters onto the cake, beginning in the center of the word to make sure it ends up centered. I wrap the letters to "Welcome" around the side of the cake. Then the word "baby" on the cake board itself, beginning in the center again. I absolutely love how this cake turned out. It's so cute. The blanket looks gorgeous and the feet turned out very realistic. The expectant mother was super happy with it and loved the Swiss meringue buttercream.
Sabrina, you want to see the little baby feet I made? Yeah, come here. I made baby feet. And look at the baby feet. Do they look like baby feet?
I like them. They're cute.
Are they cute?
They're cute.